Hey there boxing fans, I hope you are all having a good day. Now, there have been some fans and some critics saying that Anthony Joshua should possibly think about retiring, and it might be in his best interest to retire if he were to fail to defeat Andy Ruiz Jr. on December 7th and regain his heavyweight titles. Now, the question is why? Why should Anthony Joshua retire? He is still a young heavyweight, he is still fresh in the game, and had that opportunity with Charles Martin not arose in his 16th fight, perhaps he would only just be fighting for his first world title now. So why should Anthony Joshua think about retiring if he were to lose to the same man twice in his career? Well, obviously Anthony Joshua said himself that he has lost a bit of passion for the sport of boxing, and he has become slightly disillusioned with the sport. But that doesn't mean that he is looking to hang up the gloves anytime soon. Although he did say in an interview with Anna Woolhouse on Sky Sports that perhaps if he beats Ruiz, perhaps then he'll retire. So that doesn't mean that Anthony Joshua is going to retire by any means, but that does mean that Anthony Joshua has considered it. It has crossed his mind. Perhaps it is the critics getting into his head, but ultimately Anthony Joshua has considered it. Because as soon as Anthony Joshua lost, people were saying he's not good enough, he's not skillful in boxing, he's not good enough to be heavyweight champion. And all of his past triumphs seem to mean nothing to them. Well, he beat Vladimir Klitschko to unify the titles. He beat a young, fresh Joseph Parker, an undefeated world champion, to unify the titles. He's beaten Dylan White. He's beaten Alexander Povetkin and Carlos Takam, who is still a very good fighter. So should Anthony Joshua be thinking about hanging up the gloves? No, certainly not. He is just approaching his prime. Now, obviously, there were psychological problems going into the fight with Andy Ruiz Jr. Anthony Joshua has made that clear himself. He didn't want to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. He wanted to be fighting Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, or Jarrell Miller, because let's remember, that is who he was supposed to be fighting, Jarrell Miller, not Andy Ruiz Jr. Then this nice guy, this nice chubby guy, was brought in as a replacement. So ultimately, Anthony Joshua just couldn't get himself up for Andy Ruiz Jr. Now, obviously, Eddie Hearn has had something to say on the subject because he has obviously been asked about it plenty of times. This is what he had to say when he was asked whether Anthony Joshua will retire after December 7th. He's a competitor and he will go and rebuild again. How you lose is a different story, but I think he will win the fight. I also know that it's a dangerous fight. He's got a lot mentally to overcome. It's going to be epic. There was never a moment when we were making the fight when he said he didn't want to fight Ruiz. However, what he means by that is he didn't have any motivation to fight Ruiz. He still wanted to win, he still trained hard, but he didn't have that edge, and that edge is going to be key. I think next week at the press conference is going to be AJ's first time as a professional looking into the eyes of someone who's beaten him. The build-up, the edge of this fight is going to be a completely different one. AJ wants to knock him out. He didn't look at him like that the first time around. He gave him his belts to carry for a photo. It's all changed now. So he's got to be sharper. He's got to be better with that jab. He's got to be better with his feet. But it's about mindset and the will to win. This time around, he has that more than ever. So that is what Eddie Hearn has had to say about the rematch. He's clearly excited because he believes that Anthony Joshua will win his belts back, and he's clearly backing AJ to do it. To be honest, I think that AJ is going to be in the right mindset, but ultimately he is battling with his demons at the moment, and people are saying that he's changed. Anthony Joshua is not the same person he once was. And people are saying he's become obnoxious, and people are saying that he's now arrogant, but I don't think so. I think that Anthony Joshua is fighting and he is battling his demons, because that defeat really stung him. Whether he has allowed people to see it or not, that defeat stung him more than it seems. It's going to. It went against the script. Anthony Joshua was supposed to knock out Andy Ruiz Jr. in great fashion, then sit down with Tyson Fury on the next day to discuss a big fight. And it didn't go that way. And Anthony Joshua just must learn from it. There's nothing else he can do. He can focus on the negatives, which won't get him anywhere, or he can focus on the positives. He's got Andy Ruiz Jr. locked into a rematch, and he has an opportunity to put it right. He knows he can hurt Andy Ruiz. He's had him down, and he could have knocked him out. If he picked his shots a little bit better and didn't rush in, perhaps we wouldn't even be talking right now about this. But we are, and Anthony Joshua is going to have to make slight adjustments. It's important he doesn't change too much. He cannot change completely as a fighter, because going into a world title fight against a fighter like Andy Ruiz Jr., you cannot be changing things up too much. You need to stick to what you're good at, but adjust slightly to the fighter that you are fighting. Because let's remember, Anthony Joshua did not want to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. He has said that himself. so he wouldn't have had a game plan for him. Hence all of the questions to Rob McCracken in the corner, like, what is he going to do now, or what should I do next? He didn't have a game plan. That is why he was asking so many questions. People were saying, why was Anthony Joshua asking these strange questions in the corner? Well, it's because he didn't know how to deal with Andy Ruiz Jr. He didn't prepare for him. Because Andy Ruiz Jr. was a lot faster than you would give him credit for, and he was a better boxer than you would give him credit for. Probably hit a little bit harder than you would give him credit for also. The Mexican style is something that Anthony Joshua has never faced before, because there's not many Mexican heavyweights. So he's not used to fighting people that come forward when they get hurt. He's not used to fighting people who, if they get hurt, they want to hurt you back. And the body work, that was key in this fight for Andy Ruiz Jr. He was working the body extremely well, especially leading up to the stoppage in the 7th round. Now, Anthony Joshua recovered in the Vladimir Klitschko fight, but in this fight he couldn't. And I put that down to the body work from Andy Ruiz Jr. He was putting in great body work, and Andy Ruiz Jr. said he's going to nail the body from the first round this time. So Anthony Joshua is going to have to be using his feet a lot better, because he can't really defend from those body shots, because Andy Ruiz Jr. is very fast and he moves up and down well. He can throw a good shot to the head, a good jab, and then bring it down to the body, and that is what he will do. I think he will fire out a jab and then bring it down to the body. So when AJ goes to catch that shot, Andy Ruiz Jr. will take it downstairs. And that is why Anthony Joshua needs to be slipping and sliding shots, not necessarily like the Tyson Fury style, as people are suggesting. But he does need to learn to slip a shot, slide a shot here and there, because Andy Ruiz Jr. has very fast hands, and when Anthony Joshua has his gloves up, that is when Andy Ruiz Jr. tries to attack, and he throws good combinations and seems to find a way behind Anthony Joshua's guard. So slipping and sliding shots will benefit Anthony Joshua here also. Also, it will give him the opportunity to counter as well. Now, in the last fight, I think there was a lot of weight on Anthony Joshua's front foot. He was slightly leaning over his front foot, and he was loading up too much. He was looking for one punch. He just wanted to end it in one punch, get Andy Ruiz Jr. out of there. But in the rematch, he must make sure that when he throws a punch, his feet follow, so he's not falling over his front foot. That is why he got caught cold with that big punch high on the head. He took a punch very well on the chin, before that a left hook. But then Andy Ruiz Jr. threw the same shot, but higher on the head, and Anthony Joshua was not in any position to absorb that. So in the rematch, Anthony Joshua needs to adjust his feet when he throws and after he throws also, so that he is not in any position to be countered. But anyway, I think I may have strayed off topic slightly. We were talking about Anthony Joshua retiring. So will Anthony Joshua retire after the Andy Ruiz fight? No, he's not going to retire, I don't think, whether he wins or loses. Because remember, he did say, maybe I'll beat Ruiz and then retire. I think that is just biting back at the critics who are saying this and that. And no matter what Anthony Joshua says, they're not going to be satisfied. And he knows that. That is where that comment came from, I think. Just, what is going to satisfy you? I think that is what Anthony Joshua meant when he said that. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? People saying that Anthony Joshua should and probably might retire after the Andy Ruiz Jr. fight. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, click the thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.